All right, it is officially fight week for this man. The 41st time this has happened to him as a professional mixed martial arts competitor, but things have been shuffled up a bit. New opponent, new weight class for this Saturday's UFC Vegas 30 event. Back up to the heavyweight division to fight Tanner Boser this Saturday. This one left people scratching their heads a bit. So let's get some answers from the man himself, OSP, Ovince Saint Preux. How are you, my man?
And I'm doing pretty good. I can't complain.
It's good to have you here once again. So right off the bat, Maxim Grishin is the original opponent. He's out of the fight. How do we get from that to back up to heavyweight to fight Tanner Boser? Because this seemed to happen very, very quickly.
Well, I had to think about it. It took me about a day to actually come up with the decision and whatnot. Because initially, I think Maxim had a beef issue, and it couldn't happen. And I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna fight. I'm not worried about it. Then my manager, Orton, came up to me and he said something about fighting at heavyweight. And I was like, nope, I'm definitely not fighting at heavyweight. Because the last heavyweight that I fought I was like, that was just too much. But then again, I sat down, he shot me that, he was like, hey, this is the guy they were talking about. And, I sat down and I looked at it and I was like, well, okay, he's not one of the bigger heavyweights. And, at the same time, I told myself, like, I would entertain the heavyweight division again if the opportunity presented itself. And to be honest, after sleeping on it for a night and talking to a few people, and I just woke up the next morning, getting all that detail together, and I was like, let's do it.
Yeah, you make a great point about Tanner not being one of the bigger heavyweights, because there were times, especially over the last year, where people were asking him if he would be able to drop down to 205, and he had to keep kind of shrugging those questions off. So, in a weird way, it's just kind of like a bigger 205 fight in a lot of people's eyes.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, like I was, man, and it is crazy too, because this weight cut was going to be almost perfect. And when it happened, I was like, come on, man. So I kind of shrugged my shoulders about it. It is what it is. It's part of my job, time after time again, it's not the first time this happened to me. Sometimes it worked out for the best. Sometimes it didn't. So, the opponent change, to be quite honest, happened. I was talking to my trainer about it. It happened quite frequent, to say the least.
So when did you actually know about this? Like when did Orton present you with the option of going to heavyweight and then finding out that Tanner was the guy?
I found out pretty much about everything on Tuesday, because I remember Tuesday before I went to the gym, I did not look at my phone at all. And I was driving to the gym, and as I got to the gym, I looked at my phone, and he gave me, I guess he shot me a screenshot of Tanner, and I was like, oh man, you got to be kidding me. So I walked in the gym, and I was talking to my trainer, and I was like, okay, what's going on? And he was like, your guy having visa issues, so this is going on right now. And so he's like, what do you think about this fight? And I was like, I just need to sleep on it. And, I told him I needed to sleep on it because I wanted to make a couple phone calls just to kind of clear my head out.
And I know you were a little over in your last fight, missing by 1.5 pounds against Jamal Hill, but it sounds like those troubles weren't affecting you here at all. It seems like the weight was coming off perfect to get to that 206 mark. So yeah, I mean, that's crazy. You're having a great weight cut, and then this opportunity comes along. Man, this is just MMA in 2021, is it not?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, it's something that you got to expect to happen. Like, I know throughout my career, I kind of always expected it. Like even, 2 weeks out before the fight, I start really getting anxious and whatnot. And then I always put it behind my head. If something happens, I always put myself in like, the best case scenario up here, worst case scenario down here. And, like I said, it happens to me before. It happens 2 weeks out before the fight. But like, hey, look, this was going to happen. A week out before the fight, hey, look, this was going to happen. Shoot, when I was supposed to fight Shogun in Japan, I was on a flight going to Japan, and I didn't have an opponent until I got there. So,
wow,
so yeah.
After the Jamal Hill situation and missing weight and how that all went down, I know you've been talking about, like, if a heavyweight opportunity came down that made sense, it was kind of like a case by case basis with you. But was there any thought of just being like, screw this weight cutting thing and let's just go to heavyweight, man? Like, why put myself through this anymore?
Man, it's not about me putting myself through it. It's just like, even before that fight, the Alonzo Benefield fight, like that weight cut was it was crazy. I made 205 twice in 2 weeks. I did not have a problem at all making weight. I made 205 twice in 2 weeks, and the weight cut came off like that. It just so happened the following time when I fought Jamal Hill. In hindsight, I probably should have pulled from that fight just in general, because I was dealing with a lot of other stuff. But it is what it is. You live and you learn. This fight around, I thought about it. I was like, you know what? I'm going to pull from this fight. But then after that, it's just like, I'm feeling good. He's not going to be, pretty much for this fight, I'll be walking around under 230. I'll be fighting under 230. But even for Tanner or whatnot, his last fight, he was like 242. And I was like, okay, at least he's not 280. So I'm good with that.
How close were you to just saying for the Jamal Hill fight, like, nah, maybe I shouldn't do this?
Man, you know what? Like, it was very, very, very close. It was at one point in time, I was going to say no, but I end up psyching myself out just because I thought I was good, but I really wasn't. But I tell people, like, if I start, I told myself, if I ever put myself in a situation where I start hesitating again and I really don't know what to do, I might as well just go, because I'm going into the fight with conflict anyways, and I don't need that in my head. So after that fight, I kind of sat down with myself and I kind of like, okay, this is going to happen next time. If this happens, or if we're in a situation like this, similar to this, it's just going to, save me a headache and everybody else a headache too.
You can tell me to kick rocks and mind my own business all you want, but are you able to talk about some of the things that you were dealing with? Like what were some of the things that you were having to deal with? Because I know, listen, people just think like you guys are fighters and fighters just go in there and fight, but you're people. Like, you deal with things that everybody else deals with. Are you able to talk about some of that stuff?
Yeah, it's just a week before the fight, I had to take a quick trip to the emergency room. My back locked up on me. And it was bad. I thought I was good. Weight cut was going good. Even when I was cutting weight, the weight cut was going good. And then after the cut was getting more and more, I got down to about 206. And I was like, I got down to about 207 and a half. And I told my coach I was done. I ain't going to waste my energy. So in hindsight, I probably should have just been like, just be done in general. So.
Man, and so you're dealing with the back and you're just like, let's just fight through this and let's just try to make it. That's the decision. It's like those crossroads that fighters have to take from time to time.
Yeah. Like I said, it's one of them things where, like, I was thinking about it from more of a football perspective, because I've never really dealt with anything like this before. Like, I'm hurting, but then after I got the treatment that I needed, my body started feeling good. And then in hindsight, I was thinking about it. I was like, why did I just went back and just jump right back into doing something else instead of actually, probably taking, another week to 2 weeks to get more treatment and actually feeling better. But, I was like, okay, it was a Friday night, emergency room. Then next year, I'm flying. I didn't do anything pretty much Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I didn't do anything until I got to Vegas. So basically like 4 or 5 days, I didn't do anything. Now, like, oh yeah, I'm feeling good. I think I can do it. And they say, just like, yeah, but like, things happen. It is what it is. You learn. So I just told myself, like, okay, if I have to hesitate, I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to be like, okay, cool. I'm good. We're just going to figure out another day to handle this.
Did you watch Jamal's fight with Paul Craig, the whole arm situation?
I didn't get to see that part. I saw the last bit of it. I don't even know how. I don't even know. I know Paul Craig obviously is really good in the triangles and whatnot. And I just don't understand how a lot of people, I don't know. But I didn't get to see that part, but it looked pretty nasty.
Yeah, it was
so
one. Yeah, so that moment's surreal. Like, it's just weird to watch. And then the referee's just like letting it happen, like with his arm dangling around, like didn't stop it. And both fighters are telling him like, dude, what are you doing? Stop it. Like, his arm's done. And the ref just let it go for like another 20 seconds. It's crazy.
Wow. Like, Was the ref paying attention that close to make sure he didn't pass out, or just didn't see the arm?
I mean, it'd be one thing if he's like seeking it and like Jamal's sitting there just being like, shh, like, don't say anything. I'm okay. Like, I'll fight through it. But they're both like, Paul's telling him like, dude, his arm's done. And then Jamal's like, dude, my arm's done. And the ref's just like, keep fighting, keep going. It was so weird to watch, man.
I mean, there's a lot of crazy stuff that be happening and stuff. It's just at times you'd be like, you know, like, what are the refs thinking? So, I mean, I don't know, man. It's just, I know if I'm in a situation, it's hard. And it's hard too. Like, you know, Paul Craig could have easily got off, but, you know, as a fighter, you always taught, don't ever stop until the ref pulls you off. So, and then if the ref don't pull you off, don't stop. Because there's been situations where, you know, fighters have been like, okay, cool, he's done. Or they feel somebody tap, and then the guy could come back and be like, oh, I didn't tap. So, you know, and that's the crazy part is just like, you want to be a respectable fighter or whatnot, but at the same time, it just, you know, you got a job to do. So, I don't know. The rest just got to be more. It might be a situation where you might have another ref on the outside looking in. So, you know,
that's not a bad idea. Just kind of have like a special enforcer, a second set of eyes.
Yeah.
I like it. This is it's an interesting situation for you, but this is a really interesting situation for Tanner coming into this fight because he was hoping to get back in there quick after the fight with Latifi just a couple of weeks ago. And since that fight, and I saw some interviews that he did, he's been in quarantine this entire time. Like, he hasn't been able to get to the gym and really train for this fight. So as a guy who's been in this game for a while and seen all these different things, like, what do you make of his situation? And is there like an advantage or a disadvantage to just going in there and not overthinking anything and just getting in there and fighting?
There's been, to be honest, I'm like thinking you like, he's been in what? I don't know what to think about that situation, just for the simple fact where like, I really don't know. Like, I've never really been in that situation. To be honest, if it was me, I probably would have been like, nah, I'm good.
He just wanted to fight again. Like, and he got this, and I think he got a new contract and all that stuff. So.
Okay, cool. I mean, I don't know. I guess it can be a good thing. It can be a bad thing. It's just like, you know, I guess sometimes you got to run before you walk. In this case, he might be running before he's walking.
Do you like the matchup from like a stylistic perspective? Like, I know there hasn't been like a ton of time to prepare for Tanner specifically. You're so, you know, engulfed in this game that you don't really focus on your opponents that much. You're focusing on yourself and what you're going to bring. But this isn't a brand new thing for you, obviously. Do you like this one? Do you like it maybe better than the other fight from a stylistic perspective?
Stylistic, yeah. The reason being because, you know, Tanner's a bigger heavyweight. He does have a lot of output, which is good for a heavyweight. But along with that output comes, you know, cardio comes down tremendously or whatnot. And, you know, just kind of watching him against, you know, Allure, like, I know I got to watch out for certain things. He likes to kick. He got a heavy right hand. You know, as long as I can watch out for those. And, you know, I kind of been preparing myself for that fight, for those type of fights anyways. So for the grappling exchange, I never really got to see him grapple or whatnot. And I never really seen him on top of anybody. You know, I've seen him a couple of times. I've seen him when he was on top of Allure. But Allure ended up getting up and kind of circling off or whatnot. But pretty much anything I've seen, he's been kind of playing off his back. I know one thing though, he hasn't been finished. So I know I'm not going to go in there and try to be like, okay, I'm going to rip your head off. But I mean, if I can land a solid shot, I think I'm going to try to finish him because he hasn't been finished. But to say the least, when I did go up to heavyweight, I did drop Ben twice. And I know I have the power to hang in with those guys, but I'm not going to be in a box in a phone booth trying to trade blows with those guys either.
You blew a lot of people's minds when you stepped on the scale for the Ben Rothwell fight. You weighed in at 240 pounds and everyone's like, oh my God, he weighed 240. So what do you think we're going to see on Friday? Like, will we see you close to that range or below since you were cutting weight? You were getting ready to cut to 206 anyways. Where are we going to be, I think?
Man, I'm going to be definitely under 230. I'll definitely be under 230. Like I said, when I got the phone call, I remember on a Tuesday night, last Tuesday, I was 223. last two, that was 223. So I might be, knowing myself, I might be anywhere between 225 and 230.
Okay, so 240 OSP is not showing up on.
Oh hell no! 240 OSP is hurting. Like I was too. It's crazy because like, you know, like I can move at that weight, but I don't feel good moving at that weight. So even when I fought, like, because when I weighed in with pretty much everything on. I was around probably about 238, 8-ish. But I was still feeling like I felt strong, I felt fast, but it's different where like, you know, the lighter you feel, the longer you can move around. The heavier you feel, after a while, you just start, it gets harder to move around.
So when you fight at 205, what do you what do you think you weigh in at, like on fight day? Like after you cut the weight and you hit the scale and you rehydrate and all that stuff, like what do you typically weigh in on fight day itself?
On fight day, I'm usually, well, it depends. If I come in on Tuesday for fight day, the UFC check your weight. If I come in on Tuesday and I come in like 220. On fight day, I'm 220, 221. And I can move. I mean, like if I come in Tuesday, like fight day for fight week, if I come in on fight week at 220 or 221, it's going to be trouble. It's going to be really trouble. Cause I don't have to cut the weight just comes off easy. I don't have to worry about it at all. Like I don't struggle with the weight cutter at all. The times that I have come in, anytime I come in 221 and under, it's pretty much been a bonus type of night for me.
So is there a part of you that might maybe cut a little bit just so you can have that feeling of like the rehydration and kind of getting into that zone to try to be like 221, 222, or are you fine just like 228? Yeah. Or are you fine just being 228, 229?
Nah. So this is 228 right here is really good for me. Okay. It's almost like it's essentially fight camp weight for me anyways. So 228, 227 is like fight camp weight because, you know, when I actually start doing my water load, my water cut and stuff, that's when my weight just boom, flushes out very quickly. So like this week today, I probably should have been waking up right at 220, to be honest, 220. But like, you know, 227, 228 fight night, like it's going to be perfect for me.
So how do we get this done on Saturday? Yeah, I know you're not going to be looking to tear his head off, like you said, but, you know, co-main event spot. How do we set the table for, at least for this fight, Ovince, your fellow heavyweights, Ciryl Gane and Alexander Volkov?
Steal the show from them. That's all I can say. So as long as I can steal the show from the heavyweights, I'm good. So I don't know how I'm going to get it done, man. I know one thing though. I'm going to be light on my feet. I'm going to be feeling good or whatnot. So, you know, like I said, Tanner is an athletic heavyweight. He moves pretty good, but you know, myself, I don't think he's going to, at least in the heavyweight division, I don't think he's going to find guys that actually move around like I have. And when I do hit him, he's going to be surprised by my power too.
So if this fight goes according to plan, if you go out there and you dominate Tanner Boser, would you be ready to say, listen, 228's the sweet spot? What am I doing? Like, even in the Rafa fight, you even said, like, you had some success. You weighed in, you didn't feel as great because you were up to like 238, 240, whatever. You lose a split decision, but you stung him a couple of times. You dropped him in that fight. Like, could that happen? Like, if you feel good and you beat him decisively, like, are we even going to talk about going back to 205, or can we float around as long as the matchups are correct? I mean, it just seems
we can float around as long as the matchups are correct. And I mean, okay. And it even being 228 though, even being in that region of 228, you get heavyweights that cut to 265, and the next day they're like the next day Ben was down at 280 and I'm 228. That's a lot of that. I'm gonna get tired trying to move him.
That's true.
So, and I've trained with heavyweight that Francis Ngannou before. Oh hell! It is. And I mean, like literally, like seeing him in person, I'm like, man, that's a big ass dude. And I played football all my life. I've seen big people, But seeing him in person, I'm like, man, that's a big dude. Then actually gotten to train with him too. And like, when he's like, okay, kind of like, okay, little brother, come here, just boom. And I was like, okay, why did he just make me feel like a little bit, well, like literally through me? And I'm like, okay, cool. I was like, I know, pretty much I know how to stay in my lane. I mean, those guys are big for a reason. And in the heavyweight, like people say they don't move as fast, but they do hit hard. And me, I'm a numbers person. If you're a heavyweight, if you throw 20 punches and you're a heavyweight in the UFC, at least 5 of them are going to land. And it don't take nothing but one of them to put you out.
That's some good math right there. Yep. Especially with Francis. Good Lord. That is a mountain of a man.
And that's just the punches. That's not the kick. Just imagine me trying to block a leg like that.
Oh my God. I've been a proponent. I know people talk about weight classes. I know 165 has been like a huge topic over the last couple of years, and Dana hasn't really entertained that. But I've always been a proponent of the cruiserweight class, 225. I feel like 205 to 265 is crazy, and you can mix and match however you want. You could have a guy weighing in at 210 pounds fighting Francis Ngannou, and it just makes no sense. But if you sprinkle in the cruiserweight at 225, like we got a happy medium for guys who cut a lot to get to 205, but are not big enough to fight the Ngannous and the Rothwells of the world, to have it like make any susceptible sense. Like, are you a proponent of that as well? Like if the UFC introduced a 225 pound weight class, is that your sweet, like, would that be your home?
Yeah, guys like that, it's kind of remind me, because, you know, in college, I was in a position where I was between linebacker and defensive end. I was, you know, kind of too big for a linebacker, but too small for a DN. So they always called us a tweener, because you're kind of in between. So considering the fact of my MMA career, when you explain it like that, pretty much that's the role I'm playing right now. It's kind of like a tweener where, you know, I can make 205, but I'm one of the bigger 205 pounders. But at the same time, heavyweights, I'm not one of the bigger heavyweights. I'm not one of the bigger heavyweight fighters. So yeah, I would definitely entertain that. Especially, to be honest, 215 would be perfect, actually.
I like
215 would be perfect.
So you're like the JPP of MMA. You're like just right on that sweet spot, man. You get that quickness.
Pretty much.
You get Last thing for me. Did you watch Anderson Silva's return to the boxing ring on Saturday? It was nice to see like legit happiness on his face, man.
I mean, I didn't get to see it. I told myself, like, I mean, I'm going to have a lot of downtime since I'm going to be in Vegas for the next couple of days, but I'm definitely going to watch it and whatnot. I mean, you got to understand, man, like when people don't realize, when you've been in the sport for so long, especially combative sports for so long, you've been in the top for so long. And, you know, the last several years of your career have been a lot of up and down and whatnot. And to try something new and come out on top. Yeah, that's definitely going to brighten up your day.
Yeah, you'll enjoy that. It was a fun fight. He looked good, man. He looked real good. It was fun to watch.
Nice.
What will also be fun to watch is this co-main event on Saturday night, UFC Vegas 30. OSP back in the heavyweight division, taking on Tanner Boser. I'm excited for this, man. All the best to you, Ovince. Safe travels to Vegas, and best of luck to you in the fight. I'm looking forward to this one.
Thank you, sir.